So give me a specific, like who stands out in your mind that you've worked with recently that has really been able to turn some of these into tangible business outcomes?
I mean, the biggest one that comes to mind is U-Haul for me. I helped onboard them back in February, I think, of this year. We have all of their repair centers. They were, prior to using MyCarrier, using a routing guide. They just assign carriers to states. We don't have the time to go live quote all of these and ship them. So it's been a joy working with them and their team. We've set up all of their individual repair centers. They're seeing just massive efficiencies and savings on their bottom line, because they were routing guides, as you know, they can be accurate about 70-80% of the time.
Yep.
What does that 20% cost you though when you're overspending? So U-Haul's been a big one. We've connected to their NetSuite system as well. So they're fulfilling orders for their packaging exchange. So those are all end-to-end automation. They're not quoting them, dispatching them, anything. It's a sales order is created in their system. We pick it up, ship it, and provide them their documents. So that's probably the big one that's come to my mind.
I think another point is routing guides are static to some extent until you go kick over the stones and figure out what's changed since the last time you looked at it, where real-time quotes, direct API connections, I mean, as the market changes, you're getting the most accurate information.
Yep.
You're communicating the most accurate information to the carriers. The carriers can then react in kind, and it really drives the idea of partnership between shipper and carrier, because now everybody's looking at things in real time, whereas, routing guides good and optimized when you set it, and then if you don't look at it for the next year, 2-3 years, you could be pretty far off. And I think that's probably, if I were to be so bold as to guess, that was some of U-Haul's savings. It's just outdated routing guide information, despite, besides the fact that it's painting with a wide brush. It's the dynamic nature of it and kind of the changing market.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's true hard cost savings, because, I mean, they had freight spend from last year compared to freight spend through, this portion of this year.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even take into effect some of the labor allocation. And that's another big one I like to touch on. If companies are having a harder time seeing any, return on investment in terms of hard costs, I go into the labor. I mean, if it's taking you this long to fulfill these duties today, we can cut that time down by 80-90%. And what's that worth to you?
Right. Yeah, that gets beyond, MyCarrier as a product and gets into MyCarrier as a tool. So, the product is, you purchase the product, it does this. This is what the hard cost savings is. Now, where the value really compounds is you have this tool, you have these additional insights, this presentation of data that you didn't have before. Now, what are you going to do with it?